What up, you nerds? My name is Fallout, and today I'm here to tell you about a really stupid build in D2 that I'm not even sure if I love or hate for how good it is. I'm actually watching the clock right now. If you didn't know, there's a new rule on YouTube that your video will get demonetized if you curse within the first 20-ish seconds or so, give or take. Just gonna wait a few more seconds to give you my unfiltered thoughts on the loadout, just in case. Always important to play it safe. All right, I think we should be good. This build is so stupid good. I can't believe the kind of numbers I'm putting up with minimal effort each game, even with skill-based matchmaking. Jesus titty Christ. I'm going to take it even a little bit further. If we get all the way to Season 21 with no nerfs to either the weapon archetype, the subclass, the exotic, anything in today's build, then I will stream on Twitch for a day in a full Catgirl outfit on God. I'm going to show you why this build is strong and what goes into it, which, by the way, is extremely little. This is not a complicated or even a new build by any means. I'd compare it to making pasta from scratch. Just a few ingredients you probably already have laying around in the kitchen, put them together and watch dumbfounded as the whole thing quickly becomes greater than the sum of its parts. But real quick, let me tell you about this brand new controller I got sent my way from GameStop. They're the sponsor of today's video. A lot of y'all know I play both M&K and controller, and I'm pretty stubborn about what I like. However, happy to say that the Pro BFG controller surprised me in a lot of ways. It works on the PlayStation 5, PlayStation 4, and PC, which is nice because I play PC most of the time. If you're a member of my stream community, you know I talk a lot about how I can never go back to controllers that don't have paddles on the back. Thankfully, the Pro BFG has 4, perfect. And they're also not flimsy plastic prone to breaking. They're hardy flaps built into the controller. Pro BFG is the world's most customizable Pro controller. Don't like the location of the left joystick? Rotate that bad boy. Perfect for players used to either PlayStation or Xbox controller layouts. The right module can also be swapped out for a fight pad if you want. It also comes with interchangeable thumbsticks, D-pads, and thumbstick gates. I'm actually going to be live on my Twitch channel streaming tomorrow with this controller to show you what it's all about. Be sure to stop by. Don't wait, get the Pro BFG controller now for $179.99 at GameStop using the link in the video description, and again, thank you GameStop. All right, we back. If you haven't really noticed lately, SMGs are just dummy good in PvP right now. I've always enjoyed them, but again, lately it feels like they're just kind of operating with a little bit extra. Today's loadout does not feature this weapon, but most people have caught wind of the fact that the Tarrabah in particular is insane right now. For some reason unknown to God, Bungie has permitted Tarrabah to exist in our world with a 16 zoom factor by default. If you didn't know, zoom is a hugely important factor on how good SMGs feel in PvP, to the point where if an SMG can't hit 15 zoom in either one way or another, I very likely won't use it. On top of that, Tarrabah's exotic perk is literally the definition of going beast mode. Ramp it on up, which isn't that hard to do, activate it, and then your time to kill gets so low it crashes through the floor into the goddamn basement. Again though, I'm not here today to talk to you about Tarrabah. Not too long ago on a podcast I host with Cammy Cakes, Drewski, and Cool Guy, we invited former co-host Mercules on as a guest. If you didn't know, he now works on the weapon team at Bungie, and he came on our show to give a little extra insight about recently announced Lightfall weapon changes, and he did mention that Tarrabah is 100% being examined by the weapon team for future tweaking. Translation: Tarrabah about to get that hot nerf. Naturally, people are still going to use Tarrabah until it does get nerfed, which is fine, but I wanted to get ahead of that situation. No use in becoming addicted to an exotic that you know is getting taken out to the shed to get the old Yeller treatment sooner or later. Unfortunately though, in my quest to get ahead of whatever the next hot SMG will be, I think I put myself into the exact same situation but with a legendary. And I say that because I'm now kind of addicted to my backup plan weapon, Ikelos, a gun that I already firmly believe to be great. It's in my recent list of weapons you need to get before Lightfall for both PvE and PvP. Check that video out if you haven't already. But the more I use it in PvP in the right situations and the right range, the more I'm realizing how dummy easy it is to do well with. Can you hold down a trigger and vaguely hold your reticle near the opponent's chest? Great, you're good to go. I'm really not kidding. If you feel that you're maybe struggling a bit with PvP lately, try out today's build. I've used it on both mouse and keyboard and controller, and it really slaps on both. Here's each component and all the detail. The weapon, as mentioned, the Ikelos SMG version 3, aka the one that you can craft. If you've forgotten or you didn't know, between now and Lightfall, Bungie ups the amount of guaranteed deep sight drops you can get from every helm vendor from 1 a week to 1 a day. Therefore, even if you're starting from scratch, you can have a fully crafted Ikelos in literally just 5 days. My role is as follows: small bore, accurized, dynamic rangefinder with a a range masterwork. I mean, technically, because it's a crafted weapon, I think it's a range frame, not a range masterwork. Whatever, whenever you craft it, make sure you pick the frame option for range. Technically, you could get the range a little higher by going full bore in column 1, but I found the drop in stability to be annoying and enjoyed it much more when I played controller with small bore. With mouse and keyboard, it didn't really matter to me as much. For a weapon mod, I use counterbalance to get recoil direction all the way up to 100. Granted, you could always just put on extended barrel in column 1, which would do the exact same thing and allow you to use a targeting adjuster mod instead, but at that point, I feel like we're kind of just splitting hairs. In column 3, you could go perpetual over dynamic, but after trying both, I prefer dynamic. IMO, rangefinder is the play for column 4. I've heard from some other folk about tap the trigger, including my man ASTRO. I've used both roles, and although tap the trigger felt a tad more stable at mid to close range, I gotta admit, I liked rangefinder more. No, it won't give you extra miles of damage drop off, but remember that zoom also is woven into aim assist drop off, recoil reduction, and increased accuracy. I prefer it for column 4, but use whatever feels good to you. The main class I use my Ikelos on is my Titan for 2 reasons. One of those reasons being Peacekeepers. Yeah, they make your Titan look like they skipped leg day at the gym, but they're godly if you want to use SMGs in PvP. Reload stowed SMGs and ready them instantly, improved handling and movement when using one, and you get a constant plus 40 to airborne effectiveness on your SMGs at all times. The better movement with your SMGs isn't gigantic, but definitely noticeable. Check it out. On the left, my Titan has Peacekeepers, and on the right, regular leg armor. My strafe speed is way up with the PKs. I reach the end of the balcony and drop off much faster than I do with normal armor. In-game, that kind of translates to just enough extra strafe movement to become more annoying in a 1v1 gunfight. Again, I'm not Sonic the goddamn Hedgehog fast, but even if you're moving quick enough to make an enemy miss with one hand cannon bullet, they're pretty much dungeon rings to your SMG, which, by the way, is even likely to happen if they don't miss a hand cannon shot. The Peacekeepers just make it that much more challenging for the other guy. With the recent mid-season AE buffs, the extra 40 AE provided by Peacekeepers pretty much means that I 100% always feel comfortable jumping into the air to challenge somebody hiding behind cover. The weapon and the exotic are obviously the crown jewels of today's build, but let's really pull out all the stops on this one. I could play any kind of Titan, but these days I go Void. The major pull on a PvP Void Titan IMO is Ward of Dawn, aka the Titan Bubble. I can only imagine that Bungie will eventually make Ward of Dawn a not tier 5 super, but as long as it is in tier 5, you will almost always be first to have your super on the field in a game of PvP. A lot of filler footage I'm showing you is probably from Iron Banner, where Bubble obviously does very well, but even in game types like Trials, first to pop your super is huge. If you do it the right way, it's an easy round win, and you're also making Orbs of Light for your homies to get their super quickly as well. Icing on the cake, Weapons of Light Ikelos is laughably cruel at mid-range, super hard to get away from. To make sure I almost always get my super first on the battlefield, my Titan runs tier 10 intellect without question. The other stat I run at tier 10 is Resil. If you're new, Resil does a few things, including give extra unflinching when being shot, determining your max amount of overall health, and if you're a Titan, determining the cooldown time of your barricade. All important things, but the barricade is the most important. Even with the recently nerfed barricade timers, I still try to get my barricade up and running as much as I can, because my Titan also has Bastion, aka get a free overshield whenever you pop your barricade. I've got Echo of Persistence on as well to ensure the longest possible duration of that overshield if I don't get shot right away. And because that comes with a minus 10 Resil penalty, I run Echo of Leeching to both buff my close range game and give me that 10 Resil right back. I've also got Echo of Dilation, mainly because I needed the free 10 intellect to get me to 100 intellect overall. For melee, I use Shield Bash just because I find it really fun when you manage to land one. The enemy gets really disoriented, and unless they shotgun blast you during the confusion, it usually leads to a free kill in a 1v1. Void Spike Grenade because I want to win Movie of the Week. Void Spike Grenade because it's actually pretty good and often catches people off guard, is what I said. A few final key armor mods, which literally no one will be shocked by, but I'll mention anyway. On your helmet, double SMG targeting mods. This build is straight up all about just abusing IMO, one of the easiest to use primaries in the sandbox right now, so why not just dial everything up to 11? If you're new, yes, targeting mods do stack confirmed by Bungie. The first mod will give you plus 10 aim assist, and the second one will give you plus 5. On your gauntlets, SMG reloader, because why not? On your chest armor, double SMG unflinching. Again, yeah, they do stack, and we are all about maximizing the Ikelos potential. For leg armor, your SMG should automatically reload anyway, thanks to Peacekeepers, so whatever backup special weapon you got on, feel free to put on a loader for that. Or if your leg armor is arc, feel free to equip Swift Charge. That'll only help you until Lightfall because Bungie is redoing the armor mod system, but you can just straight up become charged with light by getting rapid kills with your SMG. I definitely wouldn't call that vital to the build, but if you have room, it can help you out. Class armor to me is a no-brainer. Double utility kickstart. Straight up one of the most broken armor mods in the game, giving you better ability cooldown for the low cost of 1 energy each. I also have high energy fire on in case I become charged with light mid-match, so I can dish out extra damage for free. I told you this build is not that complicated, and to be honest, it barely even qualifies as a build. Notice how I didn't even cover what special weapon to use. Borderline doesn't matter, just go in and SMG literally everything in front of you. I paired mine together with a crafted Defiance of Yasmin because I like it, but anything could work here. A shotgun for extra close range chaos? Sure, why not? Wither Horde for Iron Banner or Zone Trials? Yeah, go for it. Arbalist or Bastion if you're okay with going to hell? Whatever you want. Check out the pinned comment down below. I will have a link to my Titan build in Dim, aka Destiny Item Manager, if you want to check it out for yourself. If you already know the stupid easy power of this loadout and have any variations to the build, I'd love to know what they are down in the comment section. And by the way, I stand by my cat outfit claim, but I'm really convinced that Bungie knows how good SMGs are right now and will continue to tweak them when Lightfall comes out. Until they do though, hold down that trigger and enjoy winning the most free 1v1s at mid-range of your life. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you on stream.